What's up, guys? We're back, and that's right. We're building another engine model. This time, it's a T-700 turbo shaft, courtesy of Engine DIY. And this is actually one of their concept models that's not even out yet, so they just sent it out to me. This should be fun, and I think this thing belongs on a Black Hawk. Let's see now. This should be a lot. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Okay, as always, get this all unraveled. Hey, you gonna help me out today? Absolutely not. Not a single brain cell in there. Anyway, got the tools, got everything ready. Let's get to building. I'll keep you guys updated on the progress. Should be fun. Welcome back, everybody, and welcome back to another Stig project. Let's go. Let's build another engine. Cue the elevator music. I'm just joking. Let's go back to nostalgia. Anybody hearing this music will know exactly what it is. Today is actually a really interesting project because this is actually a concept. The model has not been released yet, and this is the T-700 turbo shaft, and it's equipped on the Black Hawk and the famous AH-64 Apache. As always, courtesy of Engine DIY, they sent this out to me so I can test it out and build it and see what's wrong with it. So along the project, you're going to see me talk about it and critique it a little bit. Full production model will be coming out soon and will be out for sale, but I will leave all the pertinent links and details down in the description. Pretty much most of their models are full metal. They do have some 3D printed models, but this one is just like this, just like the older engines that you saw me build, and it's well packaged. All the tooling comes included as well as all the hardware. At this point, I have become pretty proficient at using the tooling they send, so I am very proud of myself. I did not break a single one of them. Yay. The manual itself is excellently written, all in color. It gives you a breakdown of pretty much everything in here. So always make sure to follow it step by step. Okay, let's begin building. The first step is to assemble the stand. The stand has an internal battery as well as an electrical connector so you can charge the battery. It's got a little throttle quadrant right there, as well as electrical connector for some LED lights. These we'll see later on. They're going to represent some of the igniters. Now, I have personally never worked on any type of helicopter power plants. Now, I know a lot of you folks, or some of you folks, are ex-military or current military and do work on helicopters, so you let me know how accurate is this model. According to the manual, what I'm assembling here is the splitter receiver assembly, which later on you'll see it connects to the gearbox. Some information and stats I gathered from online. The engine has actually been around for a quite long time. It was initially bench tested back in 1973. In 1978, it went into full production as the T-700 GE-700. There's also a commercial version of this engine called the CT7 turbo shaft. Combined with the military version, they got like over 20 variants of this. Okay, since I said again, this is a concept model. This is not in production yet, so they sent me this so I can test it out or build it, see how it comes out. So I already ran into one first problem. So I am using the correct fasteners, 116 right here, which are the little baby screws right here. Now, the interesting part is, look, I got them installed, but I believe they're a bit too long. So it's not really securing it proper. Might have to resort to crazy glue, which I do have for metal. Take these out and put crazy glue, and I don't think there's no moving parts in here. There's nothing moving, or this is just secured plate. So yeah, we might have to go with that. Just need some shorter screws for that one, which I don't know if I have or not. Maybe I'll look around. I got some other kits like this. All right, that's your progress report for now. So far we're let's see, what are we assembling here? Oil tank and cover plate. I guess that's the oil tank. Pretty cool. Let's keep going. Okay, problem somewhat solved. I had another kit over here and managed to use a smaller screw right here. So these fit and it's nice and secure. But the problem is I only have 3 of them, but it's not like this thing is going flying, right? Anyway, problem solved. You're going to see a little trend of this because majority of the problems that I ran into is hardware related. Also, some of the machining of the holes of the screws also had a problem. We'll see that later on. Up next, we have the compressor assembly. This assembly is a 5-stage compressor rotor. When putting this together, pay attention to the orientation of the blades. That's done. Let's go with the case now. These are the 5-stage compressor stator vanes. The design of the compressor section of this engine is very similar to the modern engines you see me work on today. So I was very comfortable and confident putting this together. Okay, problem number 2 so far. Again, not a big deal. It's a hardware issue. So right here, it's asking for screws 112. Now, if you remember back over here, it asked me to put 4 112s right here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Well, the problem is there's only 4 of 112s, unless I'm reading that incorrectly, but I think I am. So, thank goodness I kept my kits from my older engines right there. Here's another one. So what I have to do is take one of these, which is a little bit too long to install here. I'm gonna chop the tip of it. Trusty Leatherman. Wave, always the best. Anyway, I'm gonna chop it real quick. I already got one done right here. It's nice and secure. I'm gonna do another one, easy peasy, not a big deal. Like I said, mostly a hardware issue and some of the machining of the components. We combine the case and the compressor blades, and then we get to go to work on the gearbox itself. Once again, following the manual, those 2 cylindrical units are supposed to be the fuel filters, and another smaller one is going to be the oil filter. On the inside of the gearbox, I begin to assemble all the bearings as well as the gearing. Believe it or not, this thing actually has a clutch shaft with a spring in it. It uses a pulley system to rotate an extraction fan. Gathered more information online and found out that this engine is capable of producing 1,902 shaft horsepower at sea level. Electrical power being produced is just like any other aircraft, 400 Hertz, 115 VAC. That little unit is the electrical motor that's going to run this whole thing. Assembly of the internals of the gearbox is complete. We put the cover plate on and begin to assemble the particle extractor fan. Now, with a little bit of research online, I managed to find some more information. What this thing is actually called is a scavenge blower, and is designed to extract 16% of the engine inlet airflow at maximum power, operating at 29,000 RPM. Wow. The blower is driven by the gearbox, and it's pulling any kind of scavenge air from the mainframe. Apparently, this thing also features some kind of an inlet particle separator designed to spin out any kind of dirt, sand, or dust. I hope I got that right. Okay, moment of truth. I got everything set up, got the clutch plate on, installed. All of this is installed. Let's see if it works. Yay, it works. Ops check good. How about that? How cool is that? Everything working inside? Yep, all the gearing is gone. Success. All right, on to the next step. On to the combustion chamber. Let's go. This is where we're going to get our fuel nozzles as well as our igniters, which are going to be represented by those small little LED lights that I talked about earlier. Type of fuel this engine uses is JP4 or Jet B, and alternate fuels that can be used is JP5 or JP8 or even Jet A or Jet A1. Wow, I didn't know that. Basically any kind of jet fuel. Go juice! Ran into another little snag right here. The manifold for the fuel nozzle wasn't properly fitting, so I did the best I can with this. Starting to realize I kind of enjoy running into these little problems because it challenges me to think outside the box. You adapt, you overcome, you improvise, much like real life, right? Up next, we are going to be assembling the centrifugal compressor stage. Once that's done, we will combine it with the combustion chamber. Next, we're going to be assembling the high and low pressure turbine stages, and then going to be stacking them within its case along with its respective stators. It's slowly starting to come together, so hang in there. We're almost done, guys. Assembly of the intake gearbox complete. Now the engine starts to come together. Stacking it one by one, piece by piece. Let's see if I can fit a little bit more technical information that I found online. 5-stage axial, 1-stage centrifugal mixed flow compressor, featuring a 1-piece blisk axial stage with the inlet guide vanes and first 2 stator stage variable and annual combustion chamber with a central fuel injection to improve combustion and reduce smoke. And finally, a 2-stage gas generated turbine and a 2-stage power turbine. One thing I did forget to do, which I will do later on when I complete the assembly, is add a little bit of lubrication to these bearings and shafts and gears. Progress report. Man, we're doing good. We are actually doing phenomenal. I am making some good time on this one. Okay, we're basically starting to assemble this whole thing. Got this portion of it done. This is the, not the compressor assembly. This is the central axis components, I think. I'm not sure. It's a helicopter engine, man. I don't know anything about these things. I'm just joking. Let's see now. This is sliding onto this and hooking up with that. So right there. Oh, okay. Back to time lapse. Movie magic. Take note of the orientation of how you assemble this, making sure that it's aligning properly so the exposed portion of it is facing in a particular direction. In other words, follow the manual. Always follow the manual. For some reason, my phone stopped recording, so I didn't get a chance to film me attaching the gearbox to the engine. But it's okay. I think you get the gist of it. Actually made good time on this engine. Almost 4 hours it took me to build this. We are done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got it accomplished. And she's a beauty. Man, oh man. Ultimate test. Let's go. Yeah! Look at that. Absolutely incredible. Look at that. It's even got a little tiny little turbocharger looking thingy over here. It's beautiful. That's it. We're all done. It's even got lights right there for the igniters. Oh, come on. Don't do that to me. I need to give it a little bit of lube. But yeah. Experimental model. Thank you so much, Engine DIY. This was awesome. The video will be out next week. Yeah. Great. Love it. Also, I forgot to tell you, it came with the plastic covers, okay? The plastic covers are supposed to cover the blades and whatnot, like this, one like that, and one like, you know what? I like it. I'm sure it's nice when you put it all together with the plastic covers, but I like the blades exposed. I like the blades exposed. Just don't stick your finger in them. Ah, no, I'm just kidding. I was just joking. But yeah, I like the blades exposed, so I'm going to leave the covers off. And yes, I am very well aware it's spinning backwards. I don't know what to tell you. It's my fault. I probably put it together backwards. That or the polarization of the motor or something. Don't worry, I'll fix it later. Well, in any case, I hope you guys enjoyed this build. It was fun for me. I hope it was fun for you. And I'll leave you with this beautiful Firehawk right here landing. That engine also belongs on this helicopter too. I'll turn the audio on so you guys can hear how loud these things are. So be careful with your speakers on this. Have fun, enjoy, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. I got all sorts of fun stuff that we're